Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we are diving into one of the most fascinating cultural and honestly technological shifts in modern human history. We're exploring the story of the World Cup, but look, not just as a series of football matches. The story of the World Cup is really a tale of two entirely different worlds. It's the intimate, kind of uncertain beginnings of 1930, contrasted against the massive, high-tech spectacle of 2026. It is a brilliant look at how a game evolved from this purely romantic unknown into a cold, cutting-edge modern science. And I literally cannot wait to unpack exactly how that transformation happened. All right, so here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the journey into the unknown, then versus now, the birth of the machine, the 2026 global spectacle, and finally, we'll wrap up with the unchanging heart. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The Journey into the Unknown. The Intimate, Uncertain Beginnings of 1930. Okay, picture this. It's 1930, and the world is a much bigger, significantly quieter place. The very first tournament down in Uruguay wasn't the global titan we know today. Man, it was a massive gamble. There was absolutely no formal qualification process for a lot of the participants, and zero global media coverage, at least nothing like how we understand it today. In fact, because several major European nations just flat out declined to attend, no one truly knew if the tournament would even survive its first run. The isolation was staggering. European teams like France, Yugoslavia, Romania, and Belgium literally traveled for weeks by ship just to get to South America. And the players, they actually maintained their fitness by jogging around the wooden planks of the ship decks. I mean, just imagine that for a second. Crossing an ocean for weeks, dodging deck chairs, heading toward a competition with basically zero global infrastructure. Had modern rankings existed back then, these guys would have stepped off those ships with virtually no meaningful data on their international opponents. They were stepping onto the pitch completely blind. Section 2. Then vs. Now. A century of evolution. So when we actually put then versus now side by side, the sensory contrast is just staggering. Back in 1930, you've got players jogging on ships, a tiny pool of just 13 teams, and an absolute lack of opponent data. But pit that directly against the digital overwhelm of 2026. Today, we are talking AI-assisted scouting, real-time tracking, and analysts studying tens of thousands of individual actions before a match even begins. The mystery of the opponent? Yeah, that's been completely erased and replaced by algorithms. And the sheer explosive growth in scale really tells the whole story here, doesn't it? We go from those 13 brave pioneer teams in 1930 to an absolute behemoth in 2026, featuring 48 teams and a massive cast of 1,248 players. It is transformed from this intimate, almost experimental gathering watched by a few local spectators into a global titan commanded by billions of viewers worldwide. And look, when you have billions of people watching, the pressure magnifies exponentially. But how exactly did the sport transition from a game of pure instinct to this high-pressure game of algorithms? Section 3. The birth of the machine. The moment football became a science in 2014. If we want to find the exact moment football became a science, we have to look at the summer of 2014. And honestly, this number says it all. 7-1. If you were watching the 2014 World Cup, you know exactly where you were during this match. This was Germany's unbelievable demolition of the host nation, Brazil, in the semi-final. I mean, it was 5-0 after just 29 minutes. People watching literally thought they were witnessing something impossible. But here's the thing. This wasn't an accident. This was the day the data machine won. Germany's clinical precision proved that deep analytical preparation, structural discipline, and data-driven tactics were officially taking over the sport. It completely dismantled the pure emotional chaos that Brazil had historically relied on. That entire 2014 tournament was basically a masterclass in this new scientific approach, peppered with these insane bursts of athletic perfection. We saw innovations unfolding rapidly, like in the quarterfinals when manager Louis van Gaal made the calculated, historic gamble to sub on goalkeeper Tim Krul specifically for a penalty shootout, a wildly specialized, totally data-backed role. Then you had Robin van Persie's iconic Flying Dutchman diving header against Spain, James Rodriguez instantly pivoting to strike that unbelievable chest and volley masterpiece for Colombia, and of course, Mario Götze's scoring to extra-time volley to win the final for Germany. 2014 was the blueprint for sure. It proved that to win on the modern stage, you needed perfect physical execution backed by ruthless, specialized tactics. And you know, as we look toward the future, it's incredibly fascinating to note that veteran goalkeeper Manuel Neuer remains the very last living bridge from that 2014 German golden era to the upcoming 2026 squad. He's the sole remaining player connecting that foundational moment of clinical precision back then directly to the hyper-analyzed, AI-scouted reality we're stepping into right now. Section 4. The 2026 Global Spectacle, a massive, high-tech operation. Today's modern arsenal is just wild. Teams are no longer out there just practicing free kicks. They're armed with real-time tracking, AI-assisted scouting, dedicated mental performance specialists, stress management protocols, and resilience training. Analysts study tens of thousands of individual actions from nearly every player on Earth before the tournament even begins. The unknown that completely defined 1930, it's been completely eradicated. Every inch of the pitch, every single bead of sweat is measured and optimized. But hey, check out this genuinely surprising twist from the data. The psychological side of modern football has become so incredibly critical that today, some teams actually employ more sports psychologists than they do medical doctors. I mean, that completely cements how far we've come in this story of then versus now. We started with guys jogging on salty wooden planks just to keep their legs fresh. And now the battleground is so intensely scrutinized by billions of spectators that optimizing a player's brain under crushing stress is prioritized over almost anything else. Section 5. The Unchanging Heart. The human element remains machine-proof. Now, before we go declaring that computers have entirely solved the sport, well, actually, there is one thing you absolutely must take away from this explainer above all else. I love this quote from our sources. Despite the billions of dollars in cutting-edge science, the chaos of the World Cup remains the same. And guys, that is the absolute truth. You simply cannot compute the human spirit. Whether it was a dusty, quiet stadium in Uruguay back in 1930 or a high-tech billion-dollar arena in 2026, the moments that actually define history are the ones nobody sees coming. It's the referee missing a crucial call. It's a heavy favorite just completely collapsing under the pressure of an entire nation. Or it's a superstar making a game-changing, unthinkable mistake. Data can track exactly where a player runs, but it cannot measure the weight of the moment on their shoulders. The technology? Yeah, it's evolved totally beyond recognition. But the reason we still passionately talk about these matches remains exactly the same now as it was then in 1930. It's the unpredictable, beautiful human drama. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder. As we head into the most technologically advanced sporting event in human history, will the unpredictable human drama always outsmart the machine? Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.